What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the second episode of The Process here with Ajax. Today we are going in depth with everything in regards to building the ultimate staff. Like I mentioned in the first episode of this mini-series, Football Manager doesn't have the rights to the staff for Ajax. So as you can see with the image on screen right now, I have gone ahead, kind of gotten rid of everyone that was there due to the updated databases, and now it's completely erased. So we're building the ultimate staff today. We're going in depth on everything that you kind of need to hone in on when building your staff at your club to help you take you to new heights. So the first area we're going to talk about is the coaching team, as that is one of the areas that is going to have the most amount of influence on your players on a day-to-day basis. So for me, there are 4 different areas of criteria that I kind of try and hit on when recruiting my coaches, head of youth development, performance analysts, all that jazz. They're the attributes of the staff, the personalities of the staff, the education of the staff, so kind of where they have been prior, as well as the story of the staff. Now, you're probably wondering, all right, what does education and story have to do with it? Well, from the way that I look at it, if I am bringing in someone that has been a staff member at a Barcelona, Real Madrid, Liverpool, Manchester City, they're going to be pretty darn good at their job. So if they are coming from an elite level club, that means that they're probably going to be an elite level staff member. And then story-wise, it is kind of mainly just to help you drive forward your save and be more attached to it. So you have staff members there that you kind of like who they are in reality, you like what type of players they have been in the past if you bring in players, and kind of if you go to another club, these are kind of those people that you're going to end up bringing with you. So to hit home on the story aspect of it, one of the first people that I brought in as a coach was Dennis Bergkamp. Not only did he play for Ajax in the past, he's one of the greatest players ever to play the game. And having him here at Ajax as a former player, it adds to that element of, okay, our players are going to be learning from one of the best to ever do it. And he wasn't the only one that I brought in for this purpose. There were 2 others as well, coaching-wise. One was kind of for fun, Mr. Lee Kettermole. I always kind of liked how he played, especially when he was at Sunderland. He was there for a very long time, and when looking at his attributes, he has some pretty good ones, especially in the mental and tactical side of things. So that is kind of where he will be focusing with our squad. And then the other one was kind of to make sure that my players have the right mentality, to make sure that we're going to do whatever we can to win at the end of the day and never settle for less. So I brought in Roy Keane. He is great mentality-wise, great level of discipline, great level of determination, and that's what I want to instill in our players. Plus, he has a perfectionist personality, which isn't a bad one to have. Now, you'll notice that they did hit on a couple different ones with the criteria that I was trying to hit on. Education, they all played at high levels. Attribute-wise, all had pretty decent attributes in the areas I needed them to. Story-wise, they matched it perfectly. Personality-wise, because there are certain personalities that are better than others, and that's what we're going to hit on right now as one of the best ones. Now, right here is our head of youth development, Filippo Galli. One of the main reasons why I brought him in is because his personality is model citizen. That is one of the best ones that you could possibly have. And with him kind of being the one that dictates our youth recruitment and our youth development, he is going to have a major impact on our players. Is every single player going to be a model citizen? Of course not, because all the coaches in the club as a whole and the players that they're brought up with, that'll have an effect on them. But for the ones that do end up with it, this is a definite big indicator as to why they do have it. Now, one thing with your head of youth development, usually you're going to want them, tactically speaking, to kind of be focused around what you're going to be playing. Notice how we have a 4-4-2 here. We're not going to be playing a 4-4-2 at Ajax. It's most likely going to be a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. However, due to the positions in a 4-4-2, we're still going to be getting wingers, strikers, central defense midfielders. We're going to be able to get what we need from him within our youth intakes. And also, at the end of the day, it's not really that big of a deal because I can just train the players to play in the positions that I end up needing them to play in. Now, to hit home on that attribute side of things, you do at times want to just have the best of the best that money can buy. And that is kind of how I approached it with my fitness coaches. However, I definitely lucked out on one of them because Jose Alfonso Murcio, he has model citizen for his personality. So there is another staff member with one of the best personalities that you can have within the game. But also, attribute-wise, absolutely fantastic. 15 minimum in everything that we need him to be a fitness coach. Another area that I kind of focused on with attributes was my goalkeeping coaches. We brought in Yoel Batts. He is one of the best goalkeeping coaches out there that you can bring in currently. And when looking at his attributes, he's going to help us have some pretty good goalkeepers at the club. But one thing that I don't think a lot of people end up looking at is who is the best in whatever area you may be trying to improve upon within your staff. So here on the coaching team screen, we can see the coaching attributes. This is a bar graph of everything that we currently have within our staff. So if I kind of hover over this, it's going to show every single staff member with their mental attributes. Who is the best? Who is the worst? So when we go to kind of sort out our coaching, where we know, okay, Andrea Scanavino, Roy Keane, Lee Cattermole, those are going to be the guys that we want coaching our mental side of the game to our players. Which to do that, you go to training, coaches, edit coach assignments, and this is how you can kind of dictate who is coaching what, or you can just do ask assistant to assign, and boom, there you go. It's kind of the best recommendation. So now we're going to move on to the recruitment team, our director of football, our scouts, our recruitment analysts. How do we go about this area of our staff? For me, there are 3 areas that I try and focus on: attributes, familiarity, and adaptability. And I'm going to show you what I mean by each one. Attributes kind of already know about. And the perfect person for an example of it is Jakob Friis Hansen. Great attributes, 18 adaptability, 15 player ability for judging that, as well as judging player potential also at 15. So he does a very good job for us. But also, I can hit on another one of these topics. That adaptability is at 18. I want to make sure my scouts can essentially scout anywhere in the world that I need to. And with them having high adaptability, it makes it much easier for them to do so. So, looking at his scouting knowledge, we can see he can basically scout all the Nordic areas as well as some European countries as well, which, thanks to having that high adaptability, we know not only can he scout there, but if we need him to learn other nations as well, he can do so. Now compare him to Gilmar Francisco. He is pretty darn good attribute-wise for judging player ability and potential. He also has some high adaptability, but notice he can only scout in Brazil right now. So if I want to, I can start sending him around different nations in South America, and it's going to be pretty easy for him to adapt and get some extensive knowledge within those areas, like he does have with Brazil. And now here we have the familiarity side of it. Being that I am an FM vet, I've been playing for years, I kind of know some staff members that I tend to go for from year to year, or even find ones that are good for whatever iteration is out currently. And for FM24, I know of a few of them. For me personally, whenever I'm able to, director of football wise, I try and bring in Jonas Bolt. He is very good at what he does. He can judge player ability and potential very well, but also he's a very good negotiator. So if I ever feel like I want to turn over contract negotiations to Jonas Bolt, I know I'm not going to get screwed over by some of the contracts that he is having some players sign. Or if I'm asking his opinion on the contract, I know that I'm not going to get something that is absolutely ludicrous to where I'm either paying too much or too little. Scout-wise, I usually try and bring in Mr. Steve Hitchen because he usually is not signed by anyone, and looking at his attributes, you can definitely tell as to why. And another one based off of attributes is Mr. David Williams. He is another person that I know, if he is available, definitely a must-sign type of scout. Now, when it comes to our recruitment analysts, this is the area, just like with performance analysts within the coaching side, you're going to want it to just be the best available. Focus on the best attributes, such as Adam Johnson. 15 in analyzing data, 15 in judging player ability. We're going to get some pretty good analysis from him recruitment-wise. So needless to say, the scouting area of the recruitment team is pretty straightforward. But honestly, nowhere near as straightforward as the medical team. All you got to worry about with the medical team, just sign the best that there is available and try and get it as close to a 20 attribute in either physiotherapy or sports science as possible. As we can see here with my head physio, Swantje, she has 20 in physiotherapy, so that is a perfect pickup. However, Amanda Nilsson, she only has 19 in physiotherapy, but due to her being 27 years old, we know that she is definitely going to be able to hit 20 in a physiotherapy rating, which, for those of you that do not know that are new to FM, or even vets, yes, your staff abilities can improve throughout time, especially if they are younger staff members. Now, the last thing that I want to hit on when it comes to staff is kind of based on that story aspect of it, to kind of make sure that you're enjoying your save, having fun. Yes, you want to have the best of the best, but you also want to have a fun experience. So bringing in people like Zlatan Ibrahimovic or Cristiano Ronaldo to be coaches for you and kind of help them develop, that goes a long way with making sure that you're still having fun with your save. Or you can just go about by signing the best of the best. But story-wise, one thing that I like to do is have a very diverse group of staff. And you can see with my coaching staff, recruitment team, and medical staff here that it is pretty diverse. Looking at the coaching staff, a whole bunch of different nations. Same thing with the recruitment team, as well as the medical staff. I've currently got 5 members from the Nordic area, 8 from the UK and Ireland, 3 in Brazil, 4 are French, 7 are Italian, 3 are Spanish, 5 are German, 5 are Dutch, and 4 are from other areas of the world. Now, what exactly does that impact the save with? Absolutely nothing, honestly. You can look at it from the sense of, okay, if I'm bringing in players from these nations, there are people that they're able to talk to and kind of acclimate to the club better, which that does happen with players being able to speak certain languages. Then there's also the aspect of just, okay, if I have a couple of English staff members here, maybe it's going to be easier to sign an English player. Doesn't really have that type of effect on things, but just overall it adds to the story of it. So there we have it for today's video as part of the process here with Ajax, covering all things staff. The next episode, we're going very in depth on tactics, all things tactics and set pieces. So make sure, if you did enjoy today's video, please feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribing is 100% free, so hit the sub button. Make sure to hit that notification bell so you guys get notified when the next video in this mini-series comes out. And speaking of those videos of this mini-series, I'll be popping up the most recent episode on screen for you to catch right now if you haven't done so already. But until next time, everyone, have a good one. Bye-bye.